Friday is here and the weekend is almost upon us once again. Let's talk about who's going to be dealing with severe storms next week in this Friday edition of the Texas Weather Roundup. Good morning, it's Friday, the 12th of April, 2024. I'm Texas Storm Chasers Baldy-in-Chief David Reimer. Yes, it is Casual Friday, which means it's time for the one and only meh SpongeBob shirt, because we can't wear this on storm days, but today's not a storm day. Let's just get into it. Let's start off with the high-res rapid refresh model for today, tonight to Saturday. Well, we're going to have some upper-level clouds moving across the state at times, maybe a few sprinkles in the Big Bend, the Edwards Plateau, but given the dry air mass in place, that probably won't even reach the ground. So, dry weather across Texas today, Saturday, Sunday. As you can see off this, maybe a sprinkle or two in the Big Bend. Now, one thing we will be dealing with this weekend, we're going to see wind. It's going to be a bit breezy today. South winds gusting at times up to maybe 20-25 miles an hour. They'll get stronger tonight in the Permian Basin down to southwest Texas. And then as we continue into Saturday, it's going to be much windier with wind gusts up to 45 miles an hour at times, generally out the south. And then tomorrow night, as that low-level jet ramps up, starts to bring moisture back into the state of Texas, it will remain windy. So today, breezy. Tomorrow, back to the windy behavior you tend to expect in the springtime here in the state of Texas. Fire weather conditions over the next few days from the Texas A&M Forest Service. Well, here we go. Today, the potential is high, very high to locally extreme for wildfires across the Rio Grande Plain, South Texas, the Edwards Plateau, the Permian Basin, the Big Bend, the borderland, far west Texas, around El Paso, all the way up through the Concho Valley, Big Country, northwest Texas, west Texas, into the Panhandle. Tomorrow, similar story, maybe not as high of a risk. And then on Sunday, very high fire danger across the western third of Texas as the dry line begins to set up shop. We'll see moisture flowing back into the eastern two-thirds of Texas, east of the dry line with southeasterly winds. But west of the dry line will stay very dry. West to southwesterly winds, quite warm, with very high wildfire danger expected. That will continue into Monday across the western half of the Texas Panhandle, West Texas, generally west of Interstate 27, down into the Permian Basin, Big Bend, borderland of far west Texas. And then we deal with our next storm system. Let's start with the upper-level jet stream. Here's a look as we go through this weekend. You can see a bit of a flow across us, but then the big old bowling ball comes in on Monday. That is going to be a powerful upper-level storm system that will set the stage for a potential severe weather event across Texas, Oklahoma, into Kansas on Monday, spreading east Tuesday to include the Arklatex and a good portion of the southeastern United States. You can see our storm system from a few days ago departing the eastern seaboard of the United States this afternoon. A couple days of less active weather before our next system arrives Monday. Will generally be quieter, at least for most of the state, second half of Tuesday, Wednesday, before another storm system and perhaps a pretty strong cold front arrive on Thursday of next week. The Storm Prediction Center continues to maintain an enhanced severe weather threat on Monday across the eastern Texas Panhandle, west Texas, east of Interstate 27, the Big Country, the Concho Valley now included, North Texas, Texoma, northwest Texas. Again, at this point, it's looking like the initial storm mode will likely be supercellular, discrete supercells, probably firing up between, let's just say 3 to 6 p.m. Monday, east of the dry line. We're still pretty far out, so I'm just roughing it here. And then those storms could continue into the evening. We may eventually see growth into a squall line or clusters of storms that then continue well into Monday night and Tuesday morning, moving into Oklahoma, Texoma, northwest Texas, the Big Country, North Texas by Tuesday morning. The initial storm mode would likely favor a threat of very large to giant hail and damaging straight-line winds. Tornado threat? Probably there will be one, but we're going to have to determine just how much of one. Because we've shifted things a little further west than originally thought a couple days ago, that means the moisture is going to have a little more of a ways to travel, so that may actually help to slightly limit the threat of tornadoes initially during the Monday afternoon hours. Cloud bases may be a little high, but as we get towards Monday evening sunset, after that, cloud bases lower as surface temperatures start to cool. We see the continued transport of low-level moisture. We may see the threat for tornadoes increase. This is all something we'll get into as we get closer to Monday. We're still 4 days out, which is fairy tale land for severe weather. Again, we generally need to be within 2 to 3 days to determine the exact specific threat levels and corridors of higher potential mischief. So that's what we're going to be doing. But again, expect severe thunderstorms Monday afternoon through Tuesday morning across the Panhandle, West Texas, Northwest Texas, the Big Country, the Concho Valley, Texoma, and North Texas. I'd encourage you all to check back for weather forecast updates as we continue through the weekend. All right, let's take a look at some surface plots real quick. Now, this is the European deterministic weather model. This was the 0 Zulu run from this past evening. This just shows surface dew points at about 7 p.m. Monday. Now, we'll have storms underway by this point, but I wanted to just show you where it has the dry line. Essentially, it's got the dry line sitting from Canadian to Pampa all the way down to east of Odessa, Midland, all the way down to pretty much Fort Stockton and Sanderson. Now, notice here, west of the dry line, dew points below zero or in the single digits. Very high fire danger with this activity west of the dry line on Monday. East of the dry line, notice we have surface dew points, 50s, 60s, even a couple low 70s. Unlike several days ago, we're not going to have that much moisture in place where dew points are in the 70s, but dew points in the 60s in the eastern Texas Panhandle with the higher elevation on the Cap Rock, certainly favorable enough for severe weather. Further south, notice we may initially have a bit of a mixing issue in terms of dew points or moisture mixing out a bit in the afternoon heat across portions of the eastern Permian Basin, Big Country, Concho Valley. So that may initially result in some high base thunderstorms or more convective inhibition the further south you go on that dry line by late Monday afternoon. Again, this will be something we can refine as we get closer to the event. Now, here's a look at not what I wanted to show you, but we'll just, you know what, we'll just do it this way. All right, here you go. Here are the surface-based convective available potential energy numbers, and that's actually 1 a.m. Tuesday. I want to show you 7 p.m. Monday. I don't know why those saved backwards. Oh, well. This is what the model has at 7 p.m. Monday, the European. And again, don't get too fixated on the exact numbers. Any positive number here just indicates the atmosphere is unstable. A parcel uninhibited would be able to rise. Plenty of instability. The Panhandle, West Texas, down all the way through the Big Country, the Concho Valley. Now, keep in mind, there's going to be a cap farther south and there's a cap farther east. We're just looking at this point for the immediate dry line, and clearly the eastern Panhandle is going to be quite unstable. Now, as we go into early Tuesday morning, here's something to look at. Even with the loss of daytime heating, we actually see further destabilization as the upper-level storm system continues to swing closer to the state of Texas, bringing colder temperatures aloft, increasing the temperature differential between the surface and the upper levels, or at least the mid-levels of the atmosphere, which the higher the temperature difference, the more unstable it becomes, the more lift a parcel would theoretically have. So that's why the atmosphere is actually more unstable at 1 a.m. Tuesday than 7 p.m. Monday for parts of the state. Going to show if we have thunderstorms underway still, and we probably will, things are going to continue to be on the strong to severe side. We'll get into all the nitty-gritty as we get closer, but again, expect busy weather Monday afternoon, Monday evening, into Tuesday morning, and even maybe Tuesday afternoon. There's a chance we may see some severe weather threat materialize in the Arklatex in northeast Texas Tuesday afternoon as a Pacific cool front moves east, or at least a dry line. We're not going to see a big temperature drop at all behind this system on Monday, for what it's worth. In fact, temperatures may not drop at all. It may briefly make conditions drier in terms of surface dew points dropping, but it's not going to be like this last system that pushed all that moisture way under the Gulf of Mexico, which again could set the stage for a severe weather threat on Thursday with an inbound cold front in our next upper level storm system, given the fact that one will likely have plenty of moisture to work with. All right, temperatures this afternoon, definitely warmer now. I hope you enjoyed your 2 days of not as warm temperatures because we're back to the 80s. Almost 90s across the western half of the state this afternoon. We'll see 70s to right around 80 across the eastern half, so definitely warm, but not bad for mid-April. Tomorrow, the 90s start coming back. The Edwards Plateau, the Rio Grande Plain, South Texas, the Big Bend, especially the farther south you get there, Permian Basin, the Big Country, West Texas, the Panhandle, with upper 70s, 80s, eastern half of the state. And again, expect windy conditions tomorrow. Sunday, flamethrower time, because it's 90s, low to mid 90s, northwest Texas, the Panhandle, the Big Country, West Texas, the Permian Basin, the Concho Valley, Big Bend, all the way down through the Rio Grande Plains, the Edwards Plateau into South Texas, 80s, eastern half of the state. Now here is Monday. Notice west of that dry line, Permian Basin, Big Bend, deep South Texas, the Rio Grande Plains, the Edwards Plateau, we're going to be flirting with the mid to upper 90s to near 100 degrees. It's going to be warm, and it is going to be quite windy on Monday across the entire state. And again, it's going to be a storm day. East of the dry line, storms. West of the dry line, very high to extreme wildfire danger. And then as we get into Tuesday, you can see, we don't really cool off at all. So no big cold front behind the system on Monday into Tuesday. 80s and 90s across the state of Texas. El Paso, you're technically 10 degrees cooler. Enjoy that. You'll have a high of 79. Wednesday looks mostly dry to dry. And then Thursday, we might actually get a late, I almost said late spring. It's not late spring yet, but regardless, a crashy the cold front with, this one may actually bring temperatures down quite a bit, dry us out. Probably a line of storms along the cold front as it moves southeast Thursday into Thursday night across the state, hopefully leading to less active weather as we go into the weekend. So I can go on a couple-day vacation across the country. Wouldn't really be a vacation, but it's kind of difficult to do severe weather coverage on a laptop with 1, 2, or 3 little monitors versus the abhorrently excessive setup I have here. It helps the computer is a powerhouse too. So, all right, that's going to be it for your Friday edition of the Texas Weather Roundup. Thank you to all those who have been subscribing to us on Texas Weather Center. We have exceeded 24, 25, and 26,000 folks. Thanks to the severe weather earlier this week. That's never a good thing, but I'm glad so many folks were able to find us and trust us for severe weather information and these weather forecasts. A reminder, we do these videos every day, regardless of the weather, typically during weekdays, rain or shine, summer or winter. Typically over the weekends we do not, so we will not have a morning video tomorrow, but I do suspect we'll be doing an impromptu Saturday afternoon or early Saturday evening update video for Monday's severe weather threat. And likewise, we'll probably do something Sunday afternoon as well. And even if we don't do a video, I will try to get at least 1 or 2 written detailed articles out on the Texas Storm Chasers app and the Texas Storm Chasers weather blog, which then I'd share to all the social media and put in the community tab here on the Texas Weather Center YouTube channel with the graphics and such. So with that, thank you to all those who have joined us recently and who have stuck along for the ride since we began this second Texas Weather Center / Storm Chasers YouTube channel late in 2022. We'll chat with you all again soon. Have a great Friday. Enjoy the beautiful spring weather. God bless.